This is for 7th grade. This is for lesson 6.2, one-step equations with the rational coefficients. I'm going to do the explore activity with you along with 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom of this page for 179. We have worked with solving one-step equations when we did the percent proportion. The one-step equation we did was when we isolated the variable, we always divided both sides by whatever number was with that variable. So for this lesson, we're throwing in adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, and throwing in numbers that could be negative. That's where the rational part comes in. And also the decimal portions as well, or fractions. So you have written and solved one-step equations involving whole numbers. Now you will learn to work with equations containing negative numbers. So inverse operations on the paper I gave you. We have inverse operations, which are add and subtract, and multiply and divide. So that's important to remember as we do these. If you have an addition problem to undo or use the inverse, you're going to subtract. If you're given subtraction, you're going to add. If you're given multiplication, you divide. Or division, you're going to multiply to undo to solve for the variable. So letter A says begin with the equation x plus 3.2 equals negative 8.5. So it tells you to subtract 3.2 from both sides. Now we're subtracting because 3.2 is added, and we want to get our variable by itself. So in this case, if you remember when we subtract negatives, we can rewrite them as addition. So this could also read negative 8.5 plus negative 3.2. Now since those are both negative, we're going to add them, and our answer is going to be a negative. And 8.5 plus 3.2 is 11.7. So x would equal negative 11.7. If you wanted to check your answer, you would just substitute x's value into back to the problem, so that your problem would be negative 11.7 plus 3.2, which equals negative 8.5. Letter B, begin with the equation negative 2/3 plus y equals 8. So in this case, 2/3 is negative, and you can think about negatives as being subtraction. So we're going to add 2/3 to both sides. You could also look at that as y plus negative 2/3 x, which is also y minus 2/3. So that's how they changed it to adding a positive 2/3. And 8 plus 2/3 is 8 and 2/3. Letter C, it says begin with the equation 30 equals negative 0.5a. So in this case, we have multiplication. Multiplication's inverse operation is division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 0.5. So this is the type of problem you have done already when we did the percent proportion. So negative 0.5 divided by negative 0.5 is 1. So those essentially cancel out. And now we have to divide 30 by 0.5, negative 0.5, which is negative 60. It is negative because they are unlike signs, so you have to divide. And if we want to take a closer look up here at the top two with the crossing out, or the canceling, 3.2 minus 3.2 equals 0. So you are not changing that x value with any number that is added or subtracted to x once those are gone. And same here, negative 2/3 plus 2/3, those are opposites, and we know that the sum of opposites is equal to 0. And letter D, it says begin with the equation negative q over 3.5 equals 9.2. So to get the q by itself, we're going to take the negative with a 3.5. That way we don't have to divide by a 1. And in this case, it's being divided, so we are going to multiply both sides by negative 3.5. Now, a negative times a positive is a negative. So 9.2 times 3.5, negative 3.5 is 32.2. Okay, your turn here at the bottom. 4.9 plus z equals negative 9. In this case, 4.9 is being added, so we're going to subtract 4.9 from both sides. 4.9 minus 4.9 is 0, so I cancel, and I'm left with z equals negative 9 minus 4.9 is negative 13.9. And I got that you could also rewrite negative 9 plus negative 4.9. And a negative plus a negative equals a negative. Number 2, r minus 17.1 equals negative 4.8. So 17.1 is being subtracted. So we're going to add 17.1 to both sides. So I'm left with r equals 4.8, which is negative, plus 17.1. Those are unlike signs, so you're going to subtract. So 17.1 minus 4.8 is 12.3. And 17.1 has a greater absolute value, so 12.3 is positive. And number 3, we have multiplication. So we're going to divide to undo the multiplication and get c by itself. And c equals negative 12. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thanks for watching.